Pete Snyder joining us now. Pete, good to have you with us, sir.
Hey, Johnny, good morning. Thanks for having me.
So Pete Snyder ran for lieutenant governor 2013, might be considering a run for governor in 2021. Another quote you had in the Washington Post article, Pete, that I thought was really interesting. When you were asking about running for governor, you said, look, I'm an entrepreneur and I look for opportunities. If there's a monopoly and prices are high and the service is bad, then I look for an opportunity to get into that particular sector of the market if I can offer a better product at a better price with better service. I love that analogy about your potential gubernatorial run in 2021. You want to expand on that?
Well, Johnny, right now we are going to have the blue wave has hit Virginia. Make no mark about it. This is a blue state now. We have horribly flawed, ethically challenged leadership in Governor Northam and Justin Fairfax and Attorney General Herring. And now we have both chambers of the legislature in Democratic hands. So let's see what they do. And based on where the Democratic Party is today, nationally, but also in Virginia, these folks won't be able to help themselves. John, if you've looked, and I know you have, at some of the bills that have already been filed, this is going to be stripping away our economic freedoms and our civil liberties. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to wear well with the citizens of the Commonwealth. And, when you have an abuse of power and a monopoly in any industry across the country, I've been in venture capital, I've been a serial entrepreneur. To me, that is the best time to hop right in the middle of things. I love it. I was an early pioneer in the social media world when I got in the late 1990s. People told me all the time, oh, my gosh, Pete, what, you're building a company around the Internet? That thing's a fad. I mean, you're never going to displace television or radio or print. It was tough going at first, John. But we saw the monopoly that television and print and radio had on communications, and we went right at it, and we won. So I've done it before, and I have a feeling that the Democrats are going to overreach again, based on their rhetoric, based on things like Terry McAuliffe. You and I both know, and the citizens of the Commonwealth know, Terry McAuliffe loves to stretch the truth. The truth in Terry's mouth isn't really a safe thing. But when he was caught on camera saying that with a Democratic majority in both chambers and a Democratic governor, that he was going to help create a new state of Virginia that was going to be a whole lot more like California and New York, I actually think he was telling the truth. And that's not going to wash well at all.
Well, listen, I don't think that, and maybe I'm wrong here because I said this one other time and it didn't pan out, but I mean, there is buyer's remorse. And I'm not sure that a majority of Virginians really are going to be taking too favorable to the progressive liberal legislation that is coming down the pike. And all of it's going to pass. I mean, you look at some of these things they have, whether it be restricting guns, basically making 90% of gun owners in Virginia a felon. We've got Councilman Robert Ike coming up in about 6-7 minutes. He's got one of those sanctuary city meetings tonight. Place is going to be packed. He's going to be with us. Whether it's that or third term, terminating the pregnancy infanticide under any circumstance, or getting rid of right to work, or getting rid of the Trump tax cut, or raising taxes. I mean, this goes on and on and on. The election bills that they have coming down the pike, motor voter, same-day registration, vote the same day, no citizenship question on your registration form, anything goes. And the thing is, Pete, there's nobody to stop this stuff. There's no coalition of moderate Democrats and maybe some moderate Republicans to get together and stop some of the crazy stuff. That's gone. They're going to pass it all. And the governor, who just reneged on the Medicaid expansion deal that he made with Republicans, lied about that. He's going to sign them all. What's going to stop them? How do you stop them?
Well, you're not. And this is actually right in the wake of Governor Northam's either blackface or Klansman-wearing scandal in February. I actually ran into Terry McAuliffe. And Terry McAuliffe said to me, this is right after he called the Kathy Tran bill infanticide, said it was abhorrent. He also called for Governor Northam to step down, and what he did was disgusting. He said to me, he's like, look, there's a reason why the Kathy Trans bill got on the floor, because Ralph Northam has no power. He has no control. He can't stop this stuff. And now that Ralph Northam is so emasculated, he's so neutered by what happened with his, either being in a Klan sheet or in blackface and then lying to the people of Virginia and of the country about it, he is going to do anything and everything that the Democratic caucus says that he should do. Remember when he told us all that we needed to, right in the wake of his moonwalking or almost moonwalking, that we should all read Roots? He gave us, people of Virginia, a syllabus. I think Larry Sabato said it best. Hey, buddy, I read Roots in 8th grade. So did I. He will do anything. He has been so neutered. And he really, the shame of it all is the knock on Ralph Northam used to be, you know what? Hey, he's a decent guy. He's a good doctor. He's a decent guy. Not that partisan. We're dealing with an entirely different person. They have an honor code at VMI. And I think in the esteemed history of that great institution, Ralph Northam's on the list of some of the most dishonorable people in that institution's history. He does not care about the truth. He lied to the people of Virginia about what he did, and he cut a deal on Medicaid. Hey, you could be for it, you could be against it. He made a promise to many people to get on board to that, and he just lied.
Worst governor ever.
Because it's politically expedient for him.
Worst governor ever.
It's all about clinging to power, John. This is an old white guy who got caught in blackface or in a Klan's outfit. His nickname was Coon Man. He snuck through primaries against Republicans and against Democrats. He got on Terry McAuliffe's ticket. He snuck through that. And now he's outed, and he just lies nonstop. That is a severe leadership crisis. Terry McAuliffe called for him being removed from office. I don't know if he's clearly either changed his tone or wants to be silent about it because it's just politically expedient. And this is a real problem with the Democrats in Virginia, John. You have a lot of rising stars. Look, I appreciate talent, on the right, on the left. You have a lot of really good, we may disagree ideologically or politically on issues. You have a lot of great talent on the Democratic bench. And what do you have? You have two older white dudes desperately clinging to the governor's mansion. Terry desperately wants to get back in there because he's bored, right? And he wants to live to fight for another day for the White House because at the point in time that he wanted to run, people weren't buying a triangulating Clintonian. They just weren't. That's not what Democrats are buying. And Ralph Northam, he was exposed. He was supposed to be this nice, moral guy, and he's a racist. And on top of it, he's a liar.
He's a liar.
And all he's doing is trying to cling to power.
Yeah.
So, those if I'm on the Democratic bench, I'm licking my chops to have at it and take a run for the future and not have a guy like Terry McAuliffe tell me to wait my turn.
Well, that's what they're going to try to do. Justin Fairfax isn't going to do that. He's going to run, and I wouldn't count him out because he's been, convicted of indicted for nothing. And look, but the problem with Northam is going to this session, Pete. I mean, I don't know how you sit down and have a meeting with the guy because whatever he says is a lie. I mean, and those of us that went for Medicaid expansion, like me, Republicans that went for it, it was all based on the promise that Kirk Cox negotiated conservative work reforms in it in order to end the abuse of the system. We thought we did the right thing, and we simply took him for his word. Now we've all got thrown under the bus and backed up and run over twice, and we all look like idiots. And for the naysayers on Medicaid expansion, told us this. They told us Ralph Northam will lie to you, and our position was he's the governor of Virginia. He's not going to make a deal and renege on it. They were right. We were wrong. He did. And now those of us that backed it have egg on our face.
Well, Johnny, as you know, like in business, I have found in my years, my decades in business, you can't negotiate with someone who doesn't have a moral compass.
Yeah.
You can't do a deal or even forget the political term of deal.
Right.
You can't get things done with people that you simply cannot trust and are not going to be good stewards.
Right.
And, what was the term that Ralph Northam used in his ad against President Trump? A maniac
Yeah.
or a narcissist? I forget exactly what it was.
Narcissist maniac. Yeah.
Narcissistic maniac. And, God works in really mysterious ways, John. I mean, who would have thought that the actual narcissistic maniac would be Governor Northam?
I know, exactly.
It's all about him. It's not about the good of Virginia. Just as Terry McAuliffe said, the good for Virginia would have been for him to step down.
Right.
The good for Virginia would have him not, I don't know what happened or didn't with Justin Fairfax, but they did an oppo dump on Justin Fairfax, and Justin Fairfax wouldn't take over. This stuff is just, if this were a made-for-TV movie, you wouldn't believe it.
That's right.
So,
exactly.
Back to your original question, my friend. No, there's going to be zero restraint by the Democrats. No, Ralph Northam is going to rubber stamp anything that comes his way because he's just so desperate to stay in power, and hopefully people don't bring up his Klansman past or blackface past or his Coon Man nickname from medical school. That's graduate school. I mean, it's crazy.
He's gonna sign it all, and we'll see how it plays out. But there's nothing to stop them, and you get to the Senate, basically anything to stop. They need 2 votes. Morrissey's 1, but that isn't enough. I mean, he's going to vote for against 80% of this stuff, but it isn't going to matter because until they get somebody else. Fairfax is going to break every tie. Pete, I got to go. We got Robert Ike on the phone. He's got a big Sanctuary City meeting coming up here in the city of Chesapeake. Pete Snyder, thank you for being with us, Pete.
Johnny, keep the faith. Have your listeners keep the faith as well. There'll be better days, buddy. Take care.
I'll see you soon.